Hello. Well, the Golden Knights have won again, 7-9. I forgot to switch the background thing. Unbelievable. That's the one we want. What a brutal. I mean, Jack Eichel is still a Golden Knight. That is also true. But this one makes so much more sense. I loaded it and then it didn't go. Come on. I'm paying for this. It's brutal. Okay. So a lot happened tonight. Jonas Rönnbjerg and Paul Cotter get game-winning goals, and then Jonas Rönnbjerg says like the nicest, sweetest thing I've ever seen after a game. Like, it was amazing. I'll get to that later. Cotter, the double fist pump, let's fucking go, going nuts. Told a story about a fedora and Marshy ripping him. That was hilarious. I'm waiting for that fedora picture, Paul. I told him as he was walking off the podium, I'm like, hey, you're going to make a comment about you wearing a fedora I need a picture. I'm going to need something here. Tweet it at me. So somebody keep an eye on my Twitter, because I have to imagine the @PaulCotter47 tweet is coming through at some point, or somebody let me know if he hops on this feed or whatever. We need that Paul Cotter picture. I need to see this fedora, and I feel like I'm probably going to rip on him just the same way that Marshy did. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's a nice fedora. I don't know. I'm not a fedora guy. Maybe. Paul Cotter seems like the kind of guy that would rock a fedora. And Paul Cotter also seems like the kind of guy that would come in and make an impact, because that's what I've been saying about Paul Cotter a lot. There's no reason not to like the way the kid plays. Rönnbjerg, I think, is a much safer option. I thought that's why he was in the lineup before. I liked him. I've liked him from the beginning. First couple of times we saw him, there wasn't much there, but then that third development camp was the one that he really started going. It's nice to see him score. It's nice to see them get a couple of those goals, kind of pull them out of the weeds there and put them in a good position. I am all over the place with my graphics today. Double SinBin logo in the corner. Jeez, this is amateur hour. I think Conler and Associates is paying for this. They shouldn't be. I don't know. I might have to send them a refund after the wrong banner, the double logo. I don't know. There was a typo on the thing on the bottom last time. I fixed that. Hopefully there's not one now. Read that. I don't know. But the Golden Knights have won 7 of 9. 7 of 9 after being 1-4-0. And today they beat a good team, which is a huge step in the right direction. I thought the third period, I'll admit it, I was a little nervous going into the third period. If you want to go back through my texts, which I'm not going to make public, but in a world in which we did, there's a text from me to Jason, and I said, you know what? I don't have a great feeling about this. If Minnesota gets a quick one here, this thing's going to get interesting in a hurry, and don't think it's not in the back of the Golden Knights' minds like, hey, we've blown multiple 3-goal leads at home this season. Hopefully we don't. Oh, my God, I got the wrong mic on, too. This is brutal. I am terrible. How much better does that sound, I bet? Oh, man, this is... You would probably guess that it's 10:49 and at night after a hockey game, and I'm struggling. But we're here. How much better does that sound, right? Unbelievable. Yeah, I did shave. SinBin is gone for now. It will come back at some point. How about Laurent Brossoit? Caught a lot of shit for that last game, and he deserved it for the game in Detroit. He wasn't very good. And then he goes back in. Interesting comments from DeBoer after the game, basically saying he did Brossoit a disservice, not playing him a lot in between. I found it interesting, the whole, we wanted to get Leonard into a groove, but then there's this nagging injury that Leonard has that they don't really want to talk about or make a big deal about. And then you play Brossoit only a few times. He doesn't play well in the second one. I thought they were going to be a little afraid to use him. They ended up, putting him in there, and they got it in the right spot. He certainly played well enough to win the game. Huge second period for him. Very good on the penalty kill. I thought they got off a little bit easy on that 5-on-3. I don't think Minnesota did very well on that, and the Golden Knights did a good job of just kind of staying compact, letting them crunch in, and then just letting them make the mistakes and letting Brossoit stop them. That's the story of the game again. Yet again, their ability to kill penalties. They've won now 2 of the last 4 games based solely on special teams. And that's not something that we've seen a lot, specifically last season. I guess maybe penalty kill was real good, but obviously power play hasn't been good, and they didn't even have many. Did they have any of those today? One? Oh, yeah, that one that they declined. That's right. I remember thinking oh, this is very nice of them. That penalty was a terrible call of the delay of game. And they just, kind of, you guys have the puck. Kill the 2 minutes. We'll give you back. It's, sorry, that shouldn't have been a penalty, that deal. I did find it fun that we had a whole bunch of different delay of game penalties today. Puck over glass, purposely pushing the net off the bearings, hand moving the puck out of the face-off. 3 different delay of games. I was waiting for the one where they went outside of the trapezoid, and Brossoit almost did it. It was a rush. He almost did it. That would have been fun. Didn't happen. But yeah, he was really good. Brossoit was really good. Defensively, I thought they were so much better until that third period, and I can understand how you get into that period kind of backing off a little bit. Pietrangelo, I think, was actually kind of at the forefront of kind of setting the example of how they wanted to play in that third period, and looking back, I wish he would not have gone the route that they went. Just flipping the puck out, making the safe play, chipping it out the entire time. I feel like with the way the Golden Knights were playing for the entirety of that game, there was no reason to stop. And I think this happens a lot of times, and it puts you in a position where you end up playing a different game that didn't get you to where you were. You got to 3-0, and you deserved every bit of that 3-0. Like, there's no doubt the Golden Knights were the better team for the entirety of that game until maybe the last 10 minutes or so, when they started playing really conservative, absorbing some of the pressure. And then you will see Kaprizov makes a good play, Hartman with a nice shot, the good play on the blue line by Kulikov. Like, they do some good things, and they're a good enough team that they can get some on you, and they're playing well. They're fighting. They want that win. Vegas is the team that knocked them out of the playoffs. They want that win, just as Vegas did up in Montreal. It's not an easy game to win. And then there's the injury, and it's gruesome. It's horrible. Like, I've heard more and more information about it as it's gone on. Martinez, it's obviously a skate across the face. I don't know exactly where it caught him. There's one report saying maybe it went all the way across. There's another saying it only got one side. DeBoer said 50+ stitches, which is terrifying to anybody to hear. I talked to some of the guys saying that there was a ridiculous amount of blood on the ice, which is horrible. The tooth that came out apparently might not be a tooth. I guess Alec Martinez chews gum when he plays hockey. Didn't know that. And maybe it was gum, so it's possible that it was not a tooth, that it was instead gum, which I guess would be a good thing, because then it wouldn't be a tooth and a huge 50-stitch cut. Or maybe the cut's not around his mouth. I don't know. Either way, I feel like that's going to be a minute for him. I don't think that's any sort of like super long-term injury or anything, but 50 stitches, you're not playing on Saturday. He's probably not playing on Tuesday. Maybe we see him back Thursday, or I would guess he's probably done for the rest of this homestand. I'm just hoping, enough of these wins, they've been able to put themselves in a position where they are effectively not drowned, winning 7 of 9. Don't force guys back in. Don't put yourself in a position where you're playing Mark Stone before he should be there. You're trying to rush Pacioretty back in. Like, don't do that stuff. Just let Ben Hutton play. Pull back Daniil if you need him. Whatever. And you've seen, like, the cutoff between, like, what a Will Carrier or a Carlson, or not a Carlson, but like a Kolazar, Carrier, Howden, these types of guys compared to Ronebier, Lecision, Cotter. Like, there's not a huge drop-off. White Cloud, I think, to Hutton wouldn't be a massive drop-off. I don't think you've seen a huge drop-off there with Coughlin going in. So, yeah, like, the injury thing sucks. And I don't know. I got to start looking into this, because, like, there are snake-bitten teams with injuries constantly in sports. And, like, my recollection of most of them is they just don't get better. Like, guys get healthy and then other guys go out. And, like, you think of the history of the Golden Knights, like, there's always guys on the injury report. Like, we literally have a page dedicated to it on our site, because it's always there. And very, very rarely does it say there are no injured Golden Knights at this time. It's super rare. I don't know when they're going to get everybody back. Obviously, Eichel, as long as he is, you're talking about March or so. So I don't know. It just seems like it's every single night. I don't know what's going on with Carrier. We now have the Martinez one. Guys are going to come back and others are going to go out. I would hope that it's like, this is the worst of it, and we've seen some of the worst of it. But again, overall, like, the way they play this game, when you look at it, and like I tweeted it before the game, backup goalie for the Golden Knights, 7 starters out. you know, this is a really good team. This is a team that has given you trouble. This is a team that if you give them a lot of high danger chances, they're going to bury some of them. They have a superstar on their side. They're a little deeper than you. They're healthy. You know, they are coming off the back-to-back, which maybe helped in that third period. Maybe they run out of steam towards the end of that game. But overall, like, that's a game that's certainly stacked against you, even though it's a home game. And for them to be able to get through that and find a way to get out to that lead, take advantage of the horrendous Dumba mistake, like, you look back at that, and that's a difference in the game. They had one where I thought they had a potential tap in that Kaprizov missed. That's a break. But there's also a shorthanded chance that slips through Talbot, and, you know, they knock it off the end of the line, and that could have been a goal as well. The Golden Knights were real dangerous on their penalty kill. A number of chances on their penalty kill, which is, again, good to see. Like, those are the pieces that we like to see it looking like the old Golden Knights, because a lot of it, you would hope, is systems based. Like, the style of play, the way that they had played in the past, the shot suppression style, the ability to clog up the neutral zone, the ability to be covered inside of the zone constantly and keep teams to the outside and block shots and all that good stuff. That's the type of stuff that, despite being down a number of guys in the injury column, it shouldn't make a difference. You still should be able to play with that structure and have that ability to get some things done. And in my opinion, like, we're starting to see that come along a lot compared to what we saw it at the beginning. And, like, for a minute there, I was getting nervous because it kept being the same thing over and over. It's first period struggles, it's high danger chances, it's inability to challenge at the blue line. It's, you know, giving up rush chances when they really didn't. It's not being able to create the rush chances the other way. That's what we had seen for what felt like 2 or 3 weeks. And even though they're winning some of those games in there, I thought the process was terrible. And when they were 6-6-0, I'm like, well, I think they really could be like 2-10 or something at this point. It's fortunate that they're not. Shout out to the goalies. That's the huge reason why they're not. Now I feel the opposite. And that's not to say that the goalies have been bad, because they have not. Obviously, Brossoit's game against Detroit notwithstanding, but tonight he was good. Leonard's been good pretty much every single time. Actually, I would say every single time. I don't think there's been a horrible Leonard game to this point. But the process looks like a winning team now. And as you start getting players back, they're going to have to continue that process. They're going to have to stay on that path, keep playing that style, and they'll be able to make the playoffs without any problem. And then the question becomes, what do you look like once you get in? Well, how does Jack Eichel fit in? How does that all go? But we can stop worrying potentially about where they're at in the playoff picture if they can keep winning some of these games and playing the way that they've been playing. And so the good news is that when they weren't playing well, they were still finding ways to win. Now they are playing well and they're finding ways to win. Like, I would say probably the last 3 games have been well-played games. They've gotten 2 of them. And the other one is basically a game that if you get a decent goalie performance, you're probably at least in overtime in that thing. And, you know, it didn't happen there, but maybe it will moving forward. So all in all, you got to be happy with it. As far as the 2 rookies scoring, the press conference is amazing. Like, the difference between Paul Cotter and Jonas Rönnbjerg is hilarious. Like, I'll shout out Justin Emerson for bringing this up. Like, if you've ever seen Superbad, Michael Cera, like that character, that is Jonas Rönnbjerg. Like, he is that guy. It's hilarious. And, like, to see him, there's almost like a childish, like, I don't really know how to put it. Like, he is a young kid, but he's not. You know, he's playing in the NHL, so he's clearly not. And obviously, you know, he's coming from a different country and his English isn't great, but it's, you know, it's there. He's good at, you know, he could speak English for sure. But, like, there is this like childish flair to him that is just so, like, likable. I don't know how to put it. Like, for him to be asked, where is that puck going? And immediately, without hesitation, is like, well, it's going in my room. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's, who even has a room? Like, that's great. Like, I don't know. I'll play it on goalie interference on Wednesday when we have a chance to actually cut the video and play it. It's amazing. And then there's Cotter, who's out here. You know, I think anybody who's met Paul Cotter or has a chance to understand who Paul Cotter is, I think he's going to become a very likable player in this organization, just because he's got a little Marshy in him. He's got a little bit of that confidence to him that is really fun to see. He's a really fun kid. He plays with a style that's very fun to cheer for. I think he's still getting his legs under him in the NHL. I don't think we've seen kind of that bulldog style that we've seen with him in the rookie games, in the AHL, that type of stuff. I think we will start to see that if he gets more of a chance. The question is, are they going to allow some of these guys to unseat some of the players that were ahead of them prior to the injuries? Are they going to let some of these guys get there and make that difference? And are they going to be able to do that? I don't know. I hope they are going to be able to do that. Like, if Paul Cotter deserves to be in the lineup over Brett Howden, do it. If he deserves to be in the lineup over Keegan Kolesar, do it. Same goes with Lecision, Roenbier. These guys, if they're better than Nolan Patrick, like, there's no reason to keep them out of the lineup. I think it's a huge step in the right direction to see Roenbier and Cotter now have goals. Like, Keegan Kolesar has 3 in like 60 games as a Golden Knight. And as much as I like the things that Keegan Kolesar does, and he's been good, and he brings an element that they don't have really otherwise. But at the same time, like, he gets a breakaway to salt that game away. Game over if he scores that breakaway. Like, I need it. We need it. Like, you go into a playoff game, you need that goal. And I just don't think it's going to come off of his stick. And at some point, I think you have to cut bait on that. I don't know if I can say that Roenbier or Cotter has passed him at this point. I'm not sure I would say that. I'm definitely not there with Lecision, another guy who just isn't going in for. I don't think that's necessarily ever going to be his game. But as you get to a piece where you're looking at the postseason, looking at winning a series against a team like an Edmonton, like a Calgary, you're going to need goals. And they're going to be hard to come by. And I don't know that you want to have some of these guys that can't score them in there. This Periscope is brought to you by Conler & Associates CPAs. ConlerCPA.com is the website. If you need any help with your small business taxes, or if you have crypto gains, or if you are a gambler and you're winning all these World Series of Poker bracelets, one of these days my intern will bring one home. Hasn't yet. Keeps telling me I'm in bracelet tournaments. And then I don't know what happened afterwards, because he probably doesn't want to tell me that he lost. But when he wins his bracelet, he's going to go to Conler CPAs. He's going to go to ConlerCPA.com and talk to my boy Gary, and he's going to get his taxes dealt with properly. Because there's nothing worse than having a World Series bracelet and then having to go to jail because your taxes are wrong. I've never done that. I don't think that should happen to any of you. And the best way to do that and make sure that all your taxes are done properly is to go to Conler & Associates CPAs, ConlerCPA.com. Let's see what kind of questions we have here. So there's one way to say, like, okay, he's snake bit with Kolesar, but at the same time, like, I think snake bit is when you can score and then you don't for a little while. Like a Marchessault can be snake bit. A player like a Carlson or Smith or Stone or Pacioretty, like, they can be snake bit. I don't think you can be snake bit when it's been 60 games. Like, I don't know. To me, like, and again, I'm not trying to throw Keegan Kolesar out of the lineup right now. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying when we get back to the point where maybe we're starting to look at who is in this lineup when healthy, is there a chance that a Paul Cotter can take that spot? Is there a chance that a Jonas Roenbier can take that spot over some of these other guys that we've kind of known are like, this is the guy? Like, we're going to go with Brett Howden. We're going to go with Keegan Kolesar. We're going to go with Nolan Patrick, Will Carrier maybe even. And he's been better. He's been scoring quite a bit. So who fills in when Martinez is out? I would imagine it would be Ben Hutton. Obviously, they pick up Ben Hutton, which you would think they would want to play him. So at some point, he would probably go in. That would be my guess. I would assume Miromanov would still be the next guy up. I would actually like to see Zach Hayes get a chance, mainly because I think it's when you're in the situation you're in, if you have the ability to give some of these guys opportunities, it's a chance to see maybe if someone can take that step, can look better. I think Lecision's a guy that's a good example of like, he's never going to get that opportunity without the 6 or 7 injuries in front of him. Now that he's gotten it, I think you can feel confident understanding that this guy has somewhat of an NHL future. I don't know that he's going to be an NHL star. I don't know that he's even ever going to be beyond your 3rd or 4th line. But you can feel comfortable with him being able to be in there, which if you had only played him in the AHL, you never would have felt that. Cotter is a guy where I think there's actually a little bit more upside. They tried Dorofeyev. I think that you might now, if you're going to have these injuries, if you're going to be without a little while where you don't have Alec Martinez and Whitecloud still out with the broken finger or hand or whatever it is, maybe you do give Zach Hayes a chance. Maybe you are looking down that road of can we get another guy? Like, I wouldn't mind more Miromanov either. Like, Bischoff's hurt at the moment. And he has had his chance. I think we know kind of what we're getting out of him. I think Zach Hayes would probably be a similar situation. So maybe I don't want to go overboard on that. Miromanov, there's certainly a little bit more of an offensive upside and some excitement there of what he can be. I'm still a little nervous about what he looks like in his own end. I don't think I want to go back to having a risky player going in there. That's why I would just go with Hutton right now. But if it is going to be a little bit longer of a term, maybe you can slot some other guys in there and see, I'm not sure Caden Korzak's ready yet. The last AHL game I went to, I would have said definitely not. So I wouldn't go down that road. Pouliot was actually the best guy on the ice when I was there. So maybe he gets a chance, but I think you know what you have there. Either way, I just think like you're looking at an opportunity to play a bunch of different players, to have a bunch of different guys get their chance. And now we're starting to see it pay off. Like it's nice to see that. All my years listening to the show, I always pictured you looking like Edge from WWE. I don't really know what that looks like. I'm not a WWE guy. Wrestling is not for me. I don't really understand it. I think it's weird that grown men like it. Sorry. Maybe do I look like Edge from WWE? I'm assuming I do not. I don't really look like many people because I feel like I'm fairly unique looking, and that's not maybe a good thing. I don't know. Let's get back to hockey. What else did I want to talk about? There's another comment. Yeah, okay. I think I'm running out of shit to talk about. Next game is Vancouver. I'm a little bit nervous about how that's going to look. I think they're the type of team that could potentially put themselves in a position where maybe they'll be able to score some goals, take some of these dangerous chances. I'm hoping that the high danger chance thing stops. This is an interesting comment. I counted 9 of the 12 forwards in today's lineup played center. Is that normal? Is that an advantage? That's an interesting comment. I don't think I would say it's normal. I think a lot of kids, when they're growing up, like for the most part, you're going to put your best players in the center of the ice. And, the better skaters, we want them at center. They have to, they have more defensive responsibility. They usually have to skate a little bit further of a distance at different times. So I get that. Maybe we can find some centers who stop using their hands in the circle so we can stop getting penalties. I don't really know what's going on there. Vancouver gets smoked tonight 7-1. That, to me, would be a bad thing. Vancouver is horrible. They have not played well. I understand that. I disagree that they have little offense. It may not be showing up at the moment, but I don't think they have little offense. They've got a number of good players that can break out at any moment. And if you give them the opportunities, they will score. They have some high-end talent. We've seen that before. I understand they're not playing all that well together. Mark Stone, how did he look at practice? How close is he? I mean, to me, like, I have a really hard time really judging like what's going on in practice because I don't actually know what's wrong with the guy. I don't know what I'm looking for to not look right. Like, he's doing everything, he's reaching for pucks, he's shooting, he's skating, whatever. He looks fine. The fact that they kind of poo-pooed it, that he was all that close and the finish line is a way off or whatever the hell DeBoer said in that one. I don't know. Like, I'm hoping it's fairly soon, but at the same time, it's a back injury. And I don't want to rush a back injury back. They don't need him right now. They're fine. If they lose the next 2 games, they're back to 500. They're fine. Like, they're in a good spot here. You don't have to force him back. You don't want to do anything that puts him in a position where he could potentially be out for the rest of the season. So I don't know. I don't think that I'm rushing him back at this point. Certainly, I want to make sure he's 110% back. Holy shit, it's 11:11 at 11:11 p.m. right now. That's real life. Wow. Craziest shit I've ever seen. How do you feel about prospect pool since we've given up a lot of these blockbuster trades? I think it's short. I think it's clearly going to be short. I think it was always going to be short based on the fact that they're an expansion team. And then when you take into effect, like, they've traded a whole bunch of first overall picks. I don't think they have impact players, but I think they have NHL level players. The problem is going to be, are they going to get to a point where they actually are comfortable enough using them in big situations? You're going to have contributors at entry-level contracts and at cheap dollars to be able to make this work. Like, I think that's going to have to happen now that you have $10 million Eichel, $9.5 million Stone, $8.8 million Pietrangelo, and $7 million Pacioretty. You're going to need some guys at $750 that are making an impact. I'm not sure I'm willing to jump off the ledge and say, like, Paul Cotter's making an impact and Ronbier and Lecision. Maybe we're starting to see them go in the right direction, hopefully, but I'm not there yet. We'll see. Rocco Grimaldi worth a claim. Rocco Grimaldi makes $2 million. So if he were worth a claim, it would probably be short term. I wouldn't mind it as an option for now. I think he's better than Michael Amadio. So in that respect, I wouldn't mind them going that direction. I don't think they will, just because of the fact that if they were to make that claim and then they were to be in a situation where they do get healthy and they have to put him through waivers, there's potentially a situation where you're looking at $800,000 on your roster. That's dead money effectively, like they did last year with Nick Holden. Yes, I think he helps today, but I think the salary is going to be prohibitive down the road if you are to put him back on waivers. It's not 100% certain that Nashville is going to take him back, so I think that's risky. Would it be the end of do I think it's impossible that they claim Rocco Grimaldi? No, it wouldn't shock me at all if they claim Rocco Grimaldi tomorrow and throw Amadio on waivers. That would not surprise me at all. They have plenty of money to do it now. It's just, if he does well, you're probably going to have to move someone else out to pay for him. And if he does not do well, and if he's like horrible, then you're at the mercy of someone else taking him back and claiming him in the event that you want to put him back off the NHL roster. I think in the end, Nashville would probably take him back. So if you're in that position, you're probably fine. So I don't think it's a massive risk, but when you're this close to the cap, when you have to play these games, I don't know that Rocco Grimaldi's enough to move the needle to take any risk. I guess I'll just put it that way. What do I have going on? I don't think there's anything. I think that's all I've got for tonight. Sorry, I don't look like Edge from WWE. I don't know what to say. I still don't even know what to say about that. I'm assuming that's a bigger guy. I'm definitely not that. I'm tall. I don't have any weight on me. Tomorrow is an off day for the Golden Knights and a huge day for soccer. So please go cheer on the U.S. men's national soccer team, because we could really use this one, and it would make my life a lot better if the Golden Knights win this one, because I am very stressed about them qualifying for the World Cup. But that's a completely different story. Hopefully that happens. We will see. That's all I've got. Maybe we'll do one Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. Probably a couple next week. I felt like I got away from them a little bit. Homestand ones, it's a little tough. It takes a little while for me to get over here, but we'll keep trying to do these. That's it. Thanks to the Conler and Associates CPAs for sponsoring these. And definitely, if you need any tax help Make sure you check them out, conlercpa.com. Huge Golden Knights fans, fantastic with small businesses, crypto tax, gambling tax, all that good stuff. Check them out. And again, on the bottom, like it says the whole time, Sin Bingo is still open. We're leaving it open until the end of November. So you have all the way into December to claim your, of November until December 1st to claim your card. And please go to Legacy Sports Cards and pick up your physical copy. We really need more people to go do that. It makes us look really good when we deliver for people, and it allows us to play some of these games and do some of the things. So please, if you're enjoying our content, you enjoy Sin Bingo, please go pick up another card at the store. It legit means a ton to us. Like I would very much appreciate it. So please support our sponsors. We do everything we do for free. We never ask anybody for $1, and we don't ever want to unless we're giving you something of like a t-shirt or some shit. I don't know, but that's how we are supported. So please definitely make sure you take care of all of our sponsors, all the people that I'm constantly yapping at you to take care of. That's it for tonight. Golden Knights win 7 of 9 despite the injuries, as it says there on the screen. I'm legit. I'm stunned. They're this high over 500. I thought that they could keep pace and like not completely fall out of it all the way, but they've done a hell of a job to take a step forward. I think Jason's article is going to kind of be saying how great of a job DeBoer's done. I think that's very fair. This is the best coaching job I think they've gotten out of DeBoer since they've gotten him. That's exciting. That's good stuff, and hopefully it continues. Next game's winnable, very much so. The following one's going to be awfully difficult. The one after that's definitely winnable, and the one after that, tough but winnable, a lot like this game. So there's a reasonable opportunity here to get, of the 12 points, to be able to get 8, 9, something like that. Like if they could do that, what a huge push in the right direction that's going to be. And maybe we can start talking about what does it look like chasing down Calgary, chasing down Edmonton, something that at 6-6, at 1-4, I was like, that's probably off in the distance, but maybe we'll see. That's it. See you later. Good night.